Assalamu alaikum, guys. We are Define the Dunya, and you are listening on Ramadan Radio Wolves 87.8 FM. Please call us on 01902972150. And yeah, let's get it started.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Wi'am.
Oh, yeah, names. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Dumia.
And assalamu alaikum. My name is Wi'am.
Today we're going to be talking about, well, in this first part, we're going to be talking about how Ramadan's going so far.
Mm-hmm.
So, how are you finding it?
First of all, I'd like to say, alhamdulillah, because I had this fear that I wasn't going to make it to Ramadan. I don't know why, but it was like an irrational fear. It was like, now that you're getting back on the deen, you're scared that you're not going to find it, make it to Ramadan. Mm-hmm. But, I'm finding it really nice. Like, the vibes are there.
That's
do you know what I mean?
I feel like we've had a stronger sisterhood this Ramadan, so
yeah.
that is nice.
And, I'm just excited, really. I've been praying consistently, waking up for Fajr.
So
I've missed the Hajjud a few times, but I went to Tarawih prayers as well.
How did you find that?
Oh, it was so good.
Because you went last year, right?
Yeah, I went last year for the last 10 days, I think. Yeah, but this time I went the first week, the night coming into Ramadan. Mm-hmm. It was very, very nice and humbling. When you stand next to people and you don't know who the sister on the left is or the sister on the right, but you feel connected.
Yeah,
it's so beautiful.
I'm trying to go, man. I'm trying to go.
Yeah, you got to come with me.
Yeah, now we have to.
Yeah. How are you finding Ramadan?
See, for me, it's my first Ramadan as a revert, and I came on my menstrual cycle. Yeah, and I'm just I just want to hurry up and get to fasting, praying. I miss it, but I'm like that anyway. In general, wanting to pray. So I always have that disconnection. But it's the fasting. It's my first Ramadan, and I actually want to do it properly, and it's just frustrating, really. But
just wait it out.
Yeah, praying. I'll start tomorrow. So
yeah. Oh, alhamdulillah.
I'm so excited though. But so far, even because obviously I started the day off as fasting on the 23rd, so it was just it felt nice, and then even though I'm not fasting at the moment, it still feels very good. I feel at ease. I don't feel like I can hear my brain going. I feel so good. Do you know what I mean? It just felt different. People might think I'm just waffling, but it felt so different when I woke up, and even now I just feel at ease. I don't feel so down and sad.
So what things are you doing to keep your iman high when you're on your menses?
Because basically I didn't know that we could read the English translation of the Quran without doing wudu, and so I've been doing that because I remember our goal was to read the whole Quran, right? And I was how am I supposed to do that? Obviously you can read online, but I don't like to how am I supposed to do that if I can't touch it? But I forgot I've got the English translation, so I've been doing that. I've been making sure I'm reading my right amount of pages, and it's actually inspired. I have all my questions, the kind of in the Quran. I need to remember that I can go to that book for guidance instead of asking you for everything. But
no, it's fine to ask and read, but the Quran is literally. So I've also been reading the Quran throughout Ramadan, and so me and my friend, we've been reading it 20 pages a day. So we try to finish the whole 30 juz in Ramadan. When you look at the Quran, and it's literally a way of life. It's, you're having troubles in your marriages. This is what you got to do. It's talking about that in Juz 2. And, everything is explained in detail. There's nothing like Islam. Everything is answered. It's actually crazy.
Everything's answered. Mm-hmm. But, that's what I've been doing.
So you've been doing dikhir as well?
Yeah, because I got the beads just before Ramadan. So that's kind of been helping me, get used to doing it more, because I wasn't doing it as often because I didn't know how to count on my hand. But now I've got the beads, I can do it more. I make a lot of dua, because try and stay close to God. I do not want to feel a disconnection, especially during Ramadan. So
there's a lot of things you can do when you're on your menses, so you shouldn't really feel this is for any sisters listening. You shouldn't really feel like you can't do anything. There's also I think journaling is the best thing you can do.
Yeah, it is.
In Ramadan, the best at own Define the Dunya Ramadan journal.
We'll have to explain what's on there. So.
You can find us on social media, and then we can send it to you. But I think journaling is a really big part of Ramadan as well for me.
Yeah, and writing it out, you're getting it out, so you're actually processing it, what you're saying, your targets, your goals, and when you constantly, it's a nice goal as well. Do you know what I mean?
Feels nice, it actually does.
And it feels like an achievement.
Yeah.
That's.
I've also this Ramadan I've been so Juz Amma is the last juz of the Quran, right? So I've been wanting to memorize it. So I'm a third. Wait, hang on. What's more than a third? Oh, my maths is so bad. Okay, well, let's just say a third for the reason being. But I've memorized a third so far. But what I do is every other day, or like every 3 to 4 days, I pick a surah and then I start memorizing it. And I feel like it's the best thing for me, because now every time I'm in salah, in prayer, I like alternate between the surahs. I don't just use Surah Al-Ikhlas. Like, I mean, you can do, it's fine if you do. That surah holds a lot of value. It's a third of the Quran. So if you say it 3 times, it's as if you get the reward of doing it all.
Yeah.
So no, like, it's a very good surah to say. But I think for people to feel more connected in prayer, they always ask me, like, how do you what's
Stay
the word?
focused.
Kushur. Is that the word?
It's right.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like, how do you stay focused in prayer? So I think there's...
I ask because I'm terrible. Like,
yeah, me too. But I think the best thing for me is just reading longer surahs. And don't get me wrong, like, I don't understand what it means word for word, because I've not started that journey of my Islam yet. Because I do speak Arabic, but it's not the Fusha, like it's not the Quranic Arabic. It's just the Sudanese dialect Arabic. So I do understand the Quran to some extent. But it's like a Shakespearean person talking to you and you're speaking in modern English and slang. Do you know what I mean? So, but my point is, like, say longer surahs in prayer. Take your time. You might not know what you're saying, and that's fine, because a lot of reverts will not know what they're saying too.
That was like me.
Or even born Muslims who don't speak Arabic. But if you just like take in every ayah you're saying and recite it in such a beautiful way, and with tajweed, and like your heart, to pour your heart out in salah, I think that's the best thing you can do to stay focused in prayer this Ramadan.
That is one of my goals, though, because I was struggling a lot with like staying focused, because I would try so hard and my brain's just, and I'm like, no, come on, focus. But I think learning more, because obviously I do the same too, and it's like, maybe if I learn more, but that's what I want to do, learn more, and then I can switch between. I'll be focusing so much about switching between the surahs and making sure I know which one's right, that I won't have time to think about like outside
anything
things.
else,
Yeah. So I do agree with that, and I do love reciting. Do you know what I mean? So
I love it too.
Yeah, but that's my Ramadan goal. That's one of my Ramadan goals.
Have you got any more goals?
So obviously reading the Quran, learning more surahs, and trying to recite it as well, so that I can like I feel like I'll feel a better connection to the Quran if I can actually recite it than read in English. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I still feel connected reading English. It's no different, but I feel more at ease as well if I start reciting it, because it will help me not listen to music less. Because I want to keep reciting. Obviously, I haven't listened to it during Ramadan. Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to stay away from it. Like, I'm doing so good, inshallah. But yeah, I think that will help me after Ramadan to keep this as a good habit, to not listen to music if I'm wanting to recite. Because how am I supposed to recite if I'm backtracking listening to music?
They say that you only have space in your heart for one, music or Quran.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I feel that, like, on that point. And as well, like, I've been finding it, because I was listening to music before Ramadan. I fell into bad habits, started listening to music again. We all know it's haram. I think Muslims, we all know it's haram, but like, people are in denial sometimes. Like, yeah, let's just listen to
it's
something.
so normalised in society.
Yeah,
so.
it's hard though. I do understand, especially in the society, as you said, we're living in. But there's certain things that I've been doing to like stay away from music. So I've deleted this app that like is a lot of music in it. So I've deleted it.
Yeah.
What else have I been doing? Listening to nasheeds. Nasheeds are nice. Like, they're actually good. But mainly, I've just been listening to Quranic recitation.
But like with back to music, I was thinking like there's everywhere you go, it's always playing, so it's hard. You go to the gym, I don't want to listen to music. You've got it in the background, like it's hard to avoid, man.
Remember, we was out the other day. We was at a place, right, and then he was playing music, and because it was me and a bunch of sisters, and I was just bopping my head, like singing along.
And then we clapped, like. It was like, what's going on? I was like, no.
They're like, do you know what you're doing? I was like, what? And I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's so, because it's not intentional. Like, you don't go, I'm going to dance and put it on. It's just too normalised and it's everywhere.
Yeah, it is.
Even like in cars, like on the way here. And I'm just like, how do I tell the Uber driver, turn that down, please?
May Allah make it easier for us all, because like, it's something that we all experience. I think though, this goes to emphasise that Ramadan is not just about stopping bad habits for 30 days. It's for trying to implement that after Ramadan as well.
It is. Which it's easier said than done. That's why I'm not going to say, I'm going to stop straight away, because I don't know how, like, what I'm going to be like. But I think Ramadan's a good way to start getting out of bad habits and just getting into good. And that's my goal, is to at least stop doing something that's wrong, like start becoming better. So
I think as well, like, we're all going to fall short of sin, right? So, like, alhamdulillah, the fact that Ramadan is a month, so it happens every year, right? It's like a reset. So, okay, cool. This is what happens. Like, this is the trend. Cool. So, before Ramadan, your iman's very low. Then you need Ramadan. Your heart, your soul craves for Ramadan. Ramadan's here. You're excited. You're going to Raweh prayers. You know, you have that family connection, food. But to be fair, the food isn't the main part about Ramadan. It's just worship, ibadah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, that happens. And then Ramadan's over and you feel empty, because either you feel empty or you continue your routine that you've actually established during Ramadan. but then, you know, like between the next Ramadan and the Ramadan that's just happened, it's going to be time. So obviously your iman's going to drop.
Yeah.
So the point is, you always have that second opportunity. Obviously, we don't know if we will make it to next Ramadan, because that's in the qadr of Allah. Allah's written it for us. If we will, we won't. But don't be discouraged if you haven't maintained your routine during Ramadan, like after Ramadan.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that's like, it's the idea of being perfect. That's like what I struggle with. I just feel like I can't be like, I can't sin. Like, as soon as I reverted, I tried so hard to make sure I was perfect, and it's like I can't do that because I'm not perfect. But it's a fear. Like, I'm just so scared that if I sin, I've just got all my sins washed away, and now they're piling back on top of each other. Like,
I understand,
do you know what I mean?
that. Yeah,
and I think that's the same with Ramadan. Like, if I sin during Ramadan, it's just like it's Ramadan. Like, it's a whole, but I'm not perfect.
How old was you when you reverted to Islam?
18.
So if you think about it in this way, do you really think you're going to make 18 years of sin up in the next 10 years? Do you think that's possible?
No, I get you. No. Especially if it's a habit that I've known from young. Like, it's not like I was raised with knowing, like, obviously I know what's right and wrong, simple stuff, but like sinning, do you know what I mean? Like some things that are just normalised within like culture and stuff. Like, so that is hard.
I bet you didn't know like music is a sin in Islam before you was Muslim, because it is normalised.
It is. Like, I thought that you could have like certain types of music, do you know what I mean? Like, with different like you're not allowed certain instruments, but obviously it's just none at all. So it's just something you do more research with. But I think Ramadan is also a good month for reverts to do research, because I feel like you find Islam, like I might be saying it because I found it during Ramadan last year, but you find it during this month. It's so beautiful.
Do you want to talk about how you found it? Found Islam through Ramadan last year?
Obviously we was doing our research, because obviously he was a born Muslim that was trying to connect back to Islam, and I was like someone just interested in it, because I literally, one of my biggest fears was losing
You feel closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
You really do. Like, sometimes I'll speak, because obviously I feel like he can hear my thoughts in it, so sometimes if I'm like with other people, I'll just speak to him like in my head, you know what I mean? And then I clock and I'm like, oh, should I be doing that? Am I crazy? Am I showing signs of not crazy?
You're not showing signs of craziness. It's good that you feel connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through your mind. Like, that's a good way to feel like that. This Ramadan for me, I think one of my main goals as well is that like I want to start wearing hijab. Okay, so I want to start wearing hijab. I've struggled with it like a long time. Obviously, I wear hijab here for the purpose of wanting all my videos on social media to have hijab on. But I've been going out in hijab and dressing more modestly, and I feel good.
That is good.
I feel really, really good.
You know, I get you, because at first, remember how I was scared to like walk around Wolverhampton with like a abaya on?
Yeah.
And then I had to walk here with the abaya on, and I was like, and I clocked halfway on my journey here that I had an abaya on, and I was like, I'm wearing a abaya in Wolverhampton, like what? Because I was scared.
That deep.
It isn't. But I wore one in the train station. I was so scared. I was looking around. I was like, people are going to look at me. They know me as someone that didn't used to wear this type of clothing. Like, it puts a big label on me and shows everyone, look, guys, I'm not who I am now. I'm Muslim now. But why should I be scared of that? Like, be proud, do you know what I mean? Be prideful that people look at you and they now know that you're Muslim. That's my fear, do you know what I mean?
It's like they say you're wearing a Quran verse on you, like, because hijab obviously is mentioned in the Quran. So it's like you're wearing that on you, which is beautiful. So I saw a quote on social media that said something about how, like, would you rather be beautiful in the standards of a magazine than in comparison to how your Lord sees you because you're obeying him? So obviously, during Ramadan, there's a lot of sisters who just start wearing hijab for the month. I don't know. Inshallah, may Allah make it easier for me to keep it on after Ramadan.
And the others as well that are struggling, like, going through the same thing as you. Yeah,
because there's so many that are going through it, and you shouldn't feel discouraged because you're just wearing it for Ramadan or whatever they say.
Because it's still a big step. Like, you go in somewhere, you got to take it. You can't just jump straight into it and then it be all right. You know what I mean? You're going to go through struggles.
It's not possible to jump straight into it.
Yeah. Even though I'm scared, because I literally just jumped one day after my birthday. I just wanted me to put it on.
No, but I'm so proud that you did that.
I'm scared. Like, so far, I'm happy that I wear it.
Yeah.
But I'm scared if I start getting I don't look nice in it, let me take it off. Because I wouldn't say it was rushed. It just felt right. Like, at the time, I was just like, let me put it on. I just didn't want to take it off. So I'm scared that I'll stop feeling like that, because it was too good to be true. Like, it's perfect. Do you know what I mean? Like,
make dua. Just carry on making dua.
I will, because I don't want to take it off. I feel weird taking it off. I would feel weird walking out and like doing my hair like I did before. So I'm just scared that I'll backtrack.
You know, you should also make dua that Allah keeps you away from evil eye. Allah keeps you away from evil eye, because evil eye is a big thing.
Oh yeah, it is.
Like, don't like
go around saying, hi guys, I'm my hijab journey is so easy.
Yeah.
But no, I get you.
But you wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
anyways,
I wouldn't. Nah, but Yeah.
It's very like inspiring to see, like, from your revert story, that you put a hijab on so early on in your journey.
I didn't expect it. If you had told me last year that I'd be wearing hijab, I'd be like, sure.
I wouldn't
like,
know as well, because I think your journey has been so steadfast. Alhamdulillah. Like, you went from researching last year to, okay, you took your shahada, and I witnessed it,
Yeah.
and I was crying so much.
That was so good.
And then hijab, like, alhamdulillah, like, I look at you and I'm like, bro, I'm a born Muslim, so like, I know we shouldn't be comparing journeys, but it's like what you have managed to do in a year, I can't do in 19 years.
You've got to remember as well, I have you guys to help me with that. Whereas before, you didn't have really a lot of people to help you. Whereas I've had you lot guide me. Do you know what I mean? Like, the sisterhoods guided me. But I think that's why, like, you find Ramadan, like, you find yourself in Ramadan, because I'm comparing my last Ramadan to this one, and it's so different, like, the growth. And that's what I mean, like, you'll see it. So if you are a revert, like, not or like someone that's looking into Islam, you'll see the growth from this. Like, I feel like you'll find it this Ramadan, and then you'll come back, and then you'll see. Do you know what I mean? Like, next Ramadan, or you either follow Islam or you're not, or you're still interested. So I think that's what's it's just beautiful.
It's like an opportunity.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
you don't have to jump straight into things. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I don't wear hijab this Ramadan, then inshallah in the next. But I don't really want to think about timing, because I feel like when you fixate yourself on timing, you should wear it.
And we're gonna like touch on the topic of believing in higher power, and does it give you like purpose and hope and stuff. So like, what do you think? Like, how does it make you feel?
Do I believe in a higher power?
Obviously you believe in higher power, but like the topic of like believing in a higher power.
Yeah, I do believe in a higher power, obviously, because I'm Muslim. But I think just because you're born a Muslim doesn't mean that you automatically believe in a higher power. I think like you can go through moments where you think you're believing just because of blind faith. You know, your parents are born Muslims, so you have to believe in a God. But then everyone finds God for themselves. So now I do believe in a higher power. Like, truly within my heart, I do believe. I think it's rational to believe in a higher power. I can't look at a design and say it has no creator. So how can I look at, you know, something so complex like the universe, me, and say like I wasn't created from something or from a higher ultimate being? But yeah, what about you?
Yeah, I agree, and I feel like. But I agree with you, like, I'm on the same level, and I think that with, like, believing in a higher power, like, and giving you hope, I feel like, I don't know, it's just natural. Like, you don't think that, oh, I'm going to hope. But then I don't know, because we always say, I hope God makes it easier for you, so, do you know what I mean? So I feel like we do have hope when it comes to, like, having a higher power and it having a big, like a big impact on how we feel and stuff.
But why do you think we need hope?
I don't know, because...
So hope is actually defined as a feeling of expectation and desire for a particular thing to happen.
Do you think it's like a reassurance?
Yeah.
Like, if we don't have hope, it's like, then we believe it's not going to happen. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if I hope that God, like, we hope God wills, or what He gives us, like, not what we want, but do you know what I mean? If I make dua and we hope that it comes true. So it's like, I don't know, it's like a longing for something. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think hope's always there, and I think it's probably higher, like, not higher, like, it's not a thing that gets higher like Iman, but it's probably like something that's stronger when you believe in something. When you have a faith to believe in, you probably hope a lot more, because you have something that you really believe in. That it's kind of like hope's like, no, I know it's going to happen, because you want hope.
So that's like what hope is. It's believing in God's plan, that He has willed for whatever to happen, and He's done it for the benefit of you. Like, there's a lot of people that might pray and ask for, you know, I want X, Y, Z to happen in my life, but A, B, C happens. Now you're hurt. No, don't be hurt, because you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has willed it for you to happen in that way, and it's even better for you. You might not know it's better for you in that moment, but I promise you will realise after. So that's what hope really is. It's trusting God's plan.
And it's hoping for the right things, because I could ask God for something and be like, like, I want this, and then not get it and be upset. But whenever I ask God, I've got to remember, I've got to hope for the best, like, hope for whatever I get, that's the right thing. Like, if I don't get the right thing, then I'm grateful. Like, I hope that I get the right, like, I'm hoping that I get the wrong thing, like, if it's not meant for me. But if it's right for me, then get the right, do you know what I mean?
That reminds me of Salatul Istikhara, which is a prayer that you pray when you want something. Marriage, you want good grades, you want something.
Or like you want to clear, like, if you should, like, if this is the right thing for you,
the
do you know
right
what I mean?
choice.
Like, the right job,
And like what it says in that dua is, I don't know it off by heart, but it says something along the lines of, God, please grant this to me if you know it benefits my deen, if it makes me steadfast, but if it takes me away from the deen, then don't give it to me.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives me that same vibe.
It's having that mindset of everything. You know? Like, I think people, sometimes we forget, like, we want something so bad, so we pray for it, but it's like, pray that if it's for you, that you get it. But we did ask some questions to some people about, like, about this topic, and we had someone say that, yes, Allah is always watching us and we aren't alone. So that I feel like that's their way of like saying that they have the hope because, and then, yes, but you shouldn't believe just for the sake of having hope because you truly believe. Do you know what I mean? Like you don't believe just because you have hope, which I like that because you just believing to believe because you believe, not because
it gives you hope.
Yeah,
it's a source of hope.
Yeah, hope's like and you got to remember, hope's kind of like a feeling, a twin feeling. Do you know what I mean? It's not like it's like any emotion really. Do you know what I mean? It's
That
not
is
like
so true.
it's
Because you wouldn't need hope in the hereafter. Because hope is just, as you said, it's longing for something good. And good will always be the standard in the hereafter. So I do kind of get that. I think like they were trying to say like, believe because you truly believe in God. And hope is something, a benefit that comes with on the side of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, side of it. Someone also said, so the question that was asked was, does believing in a higher power give you hope? So 2 people have responded with yes, which is true. I think it does give you hope. Someone said, believing in God gives you more hope that everything is according to his plan. And we've literally just said that. Like,
it is.
having trust in God's plan is called tawakkul in Islam. So trust in...
Can I explain what that is? For
reverts. So tawakkul means trust in God's plan. So I think part of life is having tawakkul, that it's a quality in you. And then there's something like taqwa. So taqwa means God consciousness, and someone responded knowing that God's always there, right? So that's taqwa. You're God conscious. You know that God is always there. He's always protecting you. And tawakkul is trusting God's plan. So to have taqwa and tawakkul, they work amazing like together. But I do agree with you, yeah. So believing in God gives you more hope that everything is according to his plan. I agree.
That's the perfect way to just end that question.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So what do you think about like everyone, like their purpose, and do they have a purpose? So does everyone have a purpose, and is this God-given or self-proclaimed?
I'm glad like that question was split into 2, because I think with purpose it falls under 2 categories: God-given or self-proclaimed. So I might think my purpose is this, but truly, is that my purpose in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?
Or yours.
Or mine.
And that's what I feel you have prayers like istikhara though, because you might think it's right for you and you'll go in like you don't want to go down a path where you think it's right for you, but really it's not written for you. So you pray the prayer to know for sure, like, God, like, am I doing the right thing? Because I'm struggling right here.
It's so scary to actually like, what if my plan is not a plan that God obviously wills everything, right?
But what you're doing, like the steps that you... But then I feel like it's hard because you know that he's written that you go along that path. But has he done it so you learn? Everything's a lesson though as well. So I think it's hard because you might be going down the wrong path as a lesson to come back to the right
I've had that happen to me in my life though. So I think I'm so grateful for I would not change the way that my life has been. But I'd say, so I think purpose can be both. It could be... Mainly it is God given to me in an Islamic sense, that we as Muslims, we have the purpose of ibadah, which is worshipping only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, tawheed, not associating which means not associating no partners with God. You know, God has the sole right to be worshipped by himself. That's what a Muslim truly is.
And that's our purpose, I think.
It is our
purpose. We were put here to worship him. I think if our purpose was anything else, we would be doing other things. When we really was put here to adapt. I think we were put here to adapt our lifestyles around our religion, to pray to him the right way. Not change it up and adapt, like change things up. By adapt, I mean like obviously how things will work. Like people like worship God and they did things back in like the day is different to how we're going to do it now. So we, like as our generation has to adapt and make it work. But like, do you know what I mean? Like
holding on to Islam.
Yeah, making sure that it's, because it's a lot different to how people would probably worship from like before us. So that now we've got to make sure that it works, especially in this society. Like making sure we like, so instead of music like nasheeds, you know what I mean? That's an adaptation. Whereas before there probably wasn't nasheeds.
They say holding on to Islam is like holding on to hot coal. Like right now, it's really really hard. It's a hadith that says that. So like, I get what you mean. And I think in life you can be drifted away from your purpose. So as you were saying, there's going to be things like music, like your friends are going out, you know, having a good time and you want to join them. So at the end of the day, we are going to drift away from our purpose because it's a natural part of life. But I think for me, my purpose is God-given. I have a self-proclaimed purpose as well. I think I'd like to mean something to people. Like, I want to be that person where if everyone meets... It doesn't matter which environment. It could be in this city, it could be in a different city. They know, like, oh, that's who I am. Do you know what I mean? Not in a like an egotistic way, but in a sense where, like, I respect her for what she does. She's always there to help me when I'm low.
Someone that's without fail is there no matter what, and that's what I kind of agree. I like that like that's a night, but I feel like it's a purpose of wanting to be a good person.
Yeah.
Like I want people to see me as a good person. I don't want people to see me as a bad person, or because I feel like as well, if that portrays my religion. Like it probably doesn't, but that's how I feel. I feel like if people have a bad taste of me, they're gonna think, well, she's just reverted, so it's the religion that's made her that way. When really it isn't. I feel like Islam's made me a better person. Like so. I feel like if I show that, it can I'm not saying inspire, because I'm not a big person to be inspiring people, but it could inspire my siblings. It could.
You don't
make
have to be a
see.
big person to inspire people.
But, do you know what I mean? Like I could just show that if I'm a good person, that's what my religion's helped me with. That like it's guided me towards being a better person.
I agree.
But we asked that question as well, and someone said, as a Muslim, my God-given purpose is to worship Allah. Yet I feel that my purpose on this dunya is to love and care for people. It is to accompany anyone at their lowest of times, to lend a helping hand. It's good to establish both types of purpose, one which is God-given and the other which is self-proclaimed. Which I kind of feel like we kind of understand that and get that. And I like that response. Like that response is like...
That's a good response.
It's a good response. But yeah, I agree. Like, it is God-given, and there is one that's God-given and there's one that is self-proclaimed. But it's kind of like, when you seek guidance, you kind of see which ones... Because God has also given you the feeling then that...
Someone also said that they believe their purpose is God-given, which is true, like, me too. But I think if you find a self-proclaimed purpose as well, it'd help you even more.
And it helps with the adaptation of being here. Do you know what I mean? Because you could be here and just wanting to do something like that's not work. You could be wanting to be like not lazy, but not wanting to do anything. Whereas your purpose could be having this job, like your hobbies, the things you're into. Do you know what I mean?
That's so true.
That's yourself, because no one else has the same.
That's
like
so true.
Other people do have the same like interests, but me and you probably don't have the same interest in what we want to study at university. But that is our self. That's our own.
Yeah, because imagine
purpose.
a life. I'm not saying obviously a life of full worship, 5 prayers a day, even doing the non-obligatory prayers. That's fine. But then won't you still feel empty because you've not established who you are as a person? Like your hobbies, your characteristics, like that. I think that's why you need the both of them.
Yeah, you do. Okay, next question that I'm about to ask for us. Is it hard to pick faith over worldly desires? I think yes, but it can be like, I think with time it'll be easier. I'm saying yes, but I still class us as children. Like we're not children, like we're teens, we're old adults. Like we're almost.
Wait, we're not old adults.
We're not old adults, but you know, like we're not kids,
Yeah,
we're not babies either. Like, but we are teens. Like we're still gonna be like having the fear of missing out when like friends that aren't like practicing or doing things. Like I want to go out and do that with them, but we know we can't because like free mixing, or maybe they're doing something that we're not supposed to. So I feel like it's picking having the fear of missing out, or worshipping my God and making sure I'm doing the right thing. Like,
And there's a clear answer to that one, but it is harder.
I think it is hard because there's probably some things that I do where I know that I shouldn't do just because other people do it, or like, do you know what I mean? Like I'm trying to get better at that. I'm trying to be better at just doing things my way and not having the fear of missing out and wanting to stay on this desire. But I feel like even with the extent of like music and stuff, it's kind of like it's like a desire. It's not like do you know what I mean?
It is a desire, to be fair.
Yeah.
I think I agree so much on that point. Like, I get, like the other day, I was like, someone was like to me, do you want to come along to this motive? And me knowing that there's going to be things there that are haram, forbidden for me, I said no straight away. And I have this thing where, yeah, of course, like I'm going to have that desire to want to show up. But then if I say no straight away and I tell my friends straight up, no, they know not to even ask me if a motive comes up. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's like a protection from me and haram. But of course, like I'm not saying that this life is easy, and you might see a sister and brother practicing and think, yeah, they don't experience any worldly desire, but we do. We get temptations.
Yeah, we do, and it's like I think what we have to like do better with is like how we battle these temptations, because we're gonna always have them. Like you could end up getting on deen and you could end up becoming a better person, but you'll still have those temptations. But it's how your mindset. It's mindset. I think it's working on your mindset to work on how you overcome your worldly like desires and how you put deen over it. Do you know what I mean?
How would you do? Like, how have you?
You know what? Faking it till I make it. I'm forcing myself to not want to do the things that I'd do before, because like removing myself out of the situation. Do you know what I mean? Like I'll just go, even though like I probably will miss it and I'm not ready. Like I probably rushed it a bit, but I'd rather rush it and just not be there than be there and be like, oh no, I'll stop when I'm ready. Because what if I'm not ready, or like what if I'm never ready?
Ready is a myth. You will never be ready to do anything. You're not going to be ready to wear hijab. You're not going to be ready to stop going to motives, stop doing X, Y, Z.
So that's why I feel like I've stopped, because I feel like I would have probably still been going to motives now if I didn't just stop and just like take a take a step back. Do you know what I mean?
Assess the situation.
Yeah, and because I took that step back, I don't get invited to motives anymore, which is good. I'm not saying I wish to get invited, but because I don't have that, I don't have to. That's a worldly desire that I've kind of just, it's gone now. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just.
I agree, and I think you've got to be willing to sacrifice some sense of desire or happiness in this dunya, because we can all fulfill our desires here, but we're going to go against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if that's going to put my akhirah, my hereafter, my place in paradise at risk, I'm okay. I actually don't want it. I don't want it here. I don't want it here. I don't want it.
But yeah, people actually answered that question, and someone said, but you must not give in to not fall into sin. Pleasing Allah is better than anything else. And that is literally it. That's what I think. I feel like if you have that as a reminder, you kind of don't fall into your worldly desires. It's like, why am I doing this? What's the purpose? That's again with purpose. Like, what is the purpose of me doing this sin, or what is the purpose of me doing what I'm about to do right now? Think of the action and think of, does it benefit me? How does it help me? Do you know what I mean? Like, so
the greater picture almost. Yeah. Someone also said, I feel like a lot of people tend to feed their worldly desire because they have the fear of missing out. FOMO, that's me. Yeah. That not me. I'm not saying that's me now, but that's how I felt. Like, all my friends are doing it. I want to be there. Like, and because I've had a taste of what it's like before, I know that it would probably be fun, but it's fun for the time being and for now. But what is the purpose of it? How does it benefit me? Is it helping me in this life? Is it helping me grow closer to Islam? Is it helping me get what I need? Do you know what I mean? No, it's a nice sensation for now. It's a fun sensation, but how long does it last? Do you know what I mean? I'm going to want to keep doing it over and over again to have that feeling of like wanting to be happy, and like, so that's what I mean. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's hard. You've got to like think of stuff like this before you like stop doing it. But when you think about it more, you realise I don't need to be there. Like, there's no point. Even if you're hurting inside, there's no point. Like, it'll all be worth it. I'd say, like, you know, with the fear of missing out, obviously it's going to be too late for people listening now, especially when you're 19, 20, 21. Like, you probably have fell into worldly temptation. But I'd say, like, it's like a chocolate cake. You love chocolate so much, but you know if you take a bite of that chocolate cake, you're going to end up eating the whole cake. So my analogy is basically trying to say, like, stay away from it in general. And that's what I've adapted in my life. So I've not really fed my worldly desires too much. And that's because I know, like, if I even get close to it,
you're not going to want to leave it.
I'm not going to leave it. I'm not going to leave it at all. So I'd rather just stay away. With zina, like in the Quran it says, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا zina, which means don't even get close to it. So in that sense, I think if you just stay far away from it, you're protected at all times.
Yeah, you are. Even if you want to be there, you could be itching to go, but just try. And then I think that, like, with anything, like we're saying go, but it doesn't even have to be a motive. It could be like with something silly, like with anything that's like something that's supposed to do, like just try and hold back and just think, what does it provide for me? Like, that's something that we're gonna do. Like, we haven't patterned that yet, but it's something that's something we need to listen to this and be like, yeah, we need to do this. You know what I mean? But there's someone else said, sometimes, especially if you surrounded yourself with non-believers, I feel like she's like saying that if you're around non-believers, you're gonna want to fall into the worldly desires and the stuff that they're doing, because they don't understand what you're living for and what your goal is. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like when you surround yourself with the right people, you have the same goal. You want to go to heaven. You want to worship. You want to have a relationship with God. So you can kind of push each other to do that. Whereas when you're with other people that's not their goal, they don't have to care about it. So they can do whatever they want. So that's their mindset. But then I think if you're with them, you'll fall into that mindset, because I feel like you are who the people that you're around. Like, if I'm with a bad person, people are going to think she's like her. Even though I could be the best person in the world, but I feel like when people see me with, like, don't judge a book by its cover, but people could see us together and know, oh, Wiam's nice, so I'm assuming she's nice, because Wiam wouldn't be friends with someone that's a horrible person. So it's like that. Do you know what I mean? I agree. Like, the people you surround yourself around, what is it, birds of the same feather flock together. Yeah, that is, like, I agree with that point so much. I asked the same question and someone responded with, yep, so they do think it is hard to pick faith over worldly desire. And to be fair, the question wasn't asking, we didn't ask this question, we didn't put it out in the sense where it's like someone's going to say no. Of course, like, it's human, it's a human feeling to want to indulge into worldly desire. But it's almost as if, like, we're trying to really understand if you guys are living a life for the dunya, for the world, or you're living a life for the hereafter. And to be fair, there's a middle ground too. You're living a life for both. And I feel like right now, in where I am spiritually, I feel like I've not gotten to that other end of living a life solely for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not like I intentionally do it, but I fall into sin, and like anyone does. We all do.
Yeah. But I just think maybe this Ramadan will drift me more towards living my life 100% for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah.
It's having the right mindset, I think. Literally just setting the right mindset to be in, just to be like having, just thinking like, I think it's hard because our mindsets are set with like, as we grow it, like growing up, like you do this, you go out, you turn 18 here, and what's the first thing you think to do? I'm 18, I want to go hit the club.
Yeah.
I'm 18, I want to go, like, do you know what I mean? No one thinks, oh, you're 18, you can like drive, start drive. Like, no, we do, but do you know what I mean? Mostly people are just gassed that they can get their ID so they can go.
Yeah.
But like, do you know, like that's why I think it's hard with society and like with worldly desires in society, like, and where you grow up, because it's kind of like a habit. You're born into it. It's not like if I was born and all I could hear was like, you worship God, you live your life for God. Like that's what my goal would be, but my goal wasn't that.
Do you think being born into a, like, say if you was born in a different country, a Muslim, predominantly Muslim-based society, it would be easier for you not to indulge in worldly desires?
I think it would probably be a bit similar, because you probably see on like social media other people doing stuff, and you're like, I want to go to that country so I can do that. But I think it'd be, when you're surrounded by people that are doing the same thing as you, you're gonna want to do that, because you'll be the odd one out if you're the, do you know what I mean? Like, not the odd one out, but you'd be weird. What, like,
you're not influenced by anything around you.
Yeah, like what is there around me that makes me want to be like this? So,
but I also think as well, if you were to send me to a desert island, I will still have worldly desires.
Yeah, no matter where we are, we'll always have them. But I think I feel like it's different when you've probably found Islam, right, and then you've moved somewhere that's predominantly like teaching you and like it's what you're learning. Whereas when you're growing up, like it's a bit different. Do you know what I mean? Like you haven't found, like you find it because you're learning, but you have to find it first, and then you'll know what's right and wrong and what you want to live by.
I think there's so much beauty being on the, when I say wrong path, I mean like not knowing who you are, what your purpose is, to finding a purpose for yourself. And I think me and Demeter, we've both found our purpose in Islam, and to see the growth from going from like not practicing or like not actually having that God consciousness in you to now wanting to, God and stuff, the fear of God is a big thing as well. I think if you fear, oh wow, that's a very big thing, because like, do you know, if you fear God, right, you're not going to want to indulge in worldly desires that much. I'm not saying, but everyone fears God. Like,
why do you want to go? Because I'm scared. I'm not supposed to do it. Like,
I'm not trying to get do not feel like you are a lost cause if you don't have guilt after committing sin, because I think that just shows that you're spiritually, like your faith, your iman means faith, is just a bit low at that time. There's a lot of things you can do to get your iman higher. Surround yourself with good people and recite Quran more, understand the Quran. That's why I say when you come to learn a religion, any religion, you got to look at its scripture. You got to see, does this align with my values, with this, that. So I think don't feel too far gone. It's okay if you don't feel guilt, but definitely take that as a sign to get closer to the deen.
I think God also puts you on that path so that maybe something will happen within that time, and it could like shock you, or like, not shock you, but like it could not scare you back into religion, but it could be like an eye opener. Like I need to do better. I need to come back to God. Like, so I think don't feel bad for not being so like, not everyone's perfect and not everyone's got a strong iman. Everyone's iman goes up and down, but I think God does that on purpose. Do you know what I mean? So that He can. Because when you have a low iman, I feel like you kind of want to make it higher. Especially when you have having a taste of a high iman, you want to keep it high. That was like me. I always want a high iman, and then you get the low, and you're like, please just make my iman high. I hate feeling like this. And once you have a taste of that, like a taste of wanting to be good, like feel. So like I feel like we have spoke about deen before, like, and what it is. We said deen can be about
deen, like means just having a belief system. It's believing in something. So like Christian Arabs would use the term deen to describe their Christianity and their faith with Christianity. So, yeah, as you said, it's not particular to one thing. But deen to me, my deen is Islam. And so is your deen. Deen is Islam. So getting back on deen, I'd say is quite hard. It's not, if you want to find the truth, it doesn't matter, whatever you have in your mind, you want to find the truth. You think Christianity is the truth, Islam's the truth, Buddhism's the truth. You want to find the truth. First thing is make sure your intention in your heart is correct. And then you want God as well. He's not going to turn away your dua. Like, you are His loving servant. You are His obedient servant. God is not going to not want to give you good in this life as well. So that's why repentance, if He's willing to wipe away anyone's slate clean, you don't even have to be a revert. A Muslim as well, born Muslim, doesn't matter. He's willing to do it. Do you know what I mean? So repentance and asking for guidance is two things that will bring you back to the deen. There's a lot of people out here right now that are researching. So they might not necessarily have picked a belief system. You know, they're still looking into Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Buddhism, Sikhism, you know, Hinduism. There's the religions, of course, right? Because there's so many, and I think a lot of people get fixated on, what if I picked the wrong one?
Yeah. No, I agree.
There's a lot of people that just don't even want to research religion because of how many options there are. It's like, if I pick the wrong one, am I doomed now?
Yeah. But then I feel like when you research, you kind of see similarities within religions, and you kind of just like, you label it to one, whatever stands out to you, because whatever makes you a good person. Because we were saying, as long as the religion makes you follow good things, as long as it's not telling you to murder people, then follow it. If it's helping you be better, and it's helping you provide, like you're not horrible, do you know what I mean? Because that's what Islam promotes. It promotes being kind. You're supposed to be kind to your partner, you're supposed to be kind to your family. So I think if you're doing that anyway, obviously you might not be following the religion, but it's a good reward, do you know what I mean? And you might not have just it's just what resonated with you. It
gives you objective morality, like you were saying. So like the guidelines of what makes a good person, what is good and what is bad. But I think for me, the way I've chosen Islam, like, why not another religion? You might think, you know, why not Christianity? Why not Judaism? Well, with Islam, it did resonate the most with me. But I just love I'm in love with the concept of and the truth about having to worship one entity only. That this entity doesn't take forms, that this entity has no right to be worshipped or associated with different partners. Because at the end of the day, I think a God who has created the universe, who has created all these complex things, there must only be one all-powerful. Because if you have two all-powerful beings, then that's kind of like a contradiction. Like, you're all-powerful, A is all-powerful, and B is all-powerful. They can't be all-powerful at the same time. Yeah. It doesn't work like that. So Islam is like the strict monotheistic religion, is what I like about Islam. So if you're researching religion, especially with the Abrahamic faiths like Judaism, Christianity, Islam, they're all so similar in the fact that, for example, like what you find in the 10 Commandments, that same principles, same morality, you know, you're not meant to do X, Y, Z. Don't murder, don't do this, don't do that.
We're not trying to say as well, like, our religion is better than yours. This religion is what resonated with us the most, and we're just explaining why it resonated.
There's no compulsion in religion. It says that in the Quran. So we're not here to like, but what I'm trying to say with me anyways, because I researched the three briefly. I mean, with Judaism, I researched it briefly. But there's certain parts of like the religion that differ. Although we have the same like moral basis, and like what is a sin in Islam is probably a sin in Christianity too. It's just that you need to research in depth. My point is research in depth. Don't take your information from. Actually, like, social media does help you, but I want you guys to go to your local priests, your local imams, your local rabbis. Like, definitely go ask them questions.
Friends as well.
Friends. Like, if you just have a question in your head that's like, bugging you out because you can't get it answered, go ask for the answer. Yeah. And if you're not satisfied with the answer, then maybe look at somewhere else. Look elsewhere. Yeah,
look elsewhere, or try and figure out why it's making you feel that way. Do you know what I mean? Because there might be some things within Islam that people are like, I just don't get it. Like, that doesn't make sense. But when you further look into it, it kind of does make sense, and you kind of see why.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Do you know
like, what I mean? Take everything into context. Like, as I agree with you, because there's things that I've looked in the Quran and I was like, this was because I didn't have context, and I didn't truly understand the Islam at that point. But I looked at it and I was like, oh, why?
Yeah. Like, with me, I didn't understand hijab. Like, before I reverted, like, growing, I never understood the idea of hijab. Like, I didn't like it. Not that I didn't like the idea. I just thought, I love my hair. Like, and then the more I learn about the religion, and the more I actually look into it, hijab's beautiful. Do you know what I mean? I love seeing people wearing hijabs. Like, it's a beauty. Like, you don't see it as someone that's just, oh, they're ugly because they got a hijab on. Do you know what I mean? They don't look like the rest of it. Like, you kind of see the beauty in it the more you research. And
it's devotion to the scripture. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but it's not too late as well. If you're not on deen, it's not too late to get on deen. And don't think just because you're doing it during Ramadan, you might be on deen during Ramadan and you might fall back, but that doesn't make you any less of a Muslim. Yeah. Like, try and stay better, because we can't help it. But just pray. As long as you're praying and you're trying to become better, that's what that matters. Like, it's all about your intention. Like, if your intention's pure and you're trying to be good, but you just end up being like, you do wrong, then there's not, like, it's not bad. But if you're intentionally trying to be bad and you're intentionally doing wrong and not caring, then that's the worst thing ever.
I think that's what I loved about Islam so much, that it made me realise that intention carries more weight than action. Because I might be giving out to charity and then record it to post all over social media just so people look at me and think, I'm so pious, I've just given to charity. But if you've done it for the intent that, okay, cool, I want to give out to people, I want to help people, and this is a act of worship between me and God only, it's like a charity I do between me and God only, that's my intention being pure.
Yeah, I agree. Like if I help out someone or like I wouldn't brag. Like before probably I'd be probably on a stunt for social media. Look at me, I just helped this homeless person out. But now there's more to it than just wanting to show people what I'm doing. As long as that person's okay and that person likes provide.
I think definitely this Ramadan has started off with a good start. Do you know what I mean? So last Ramadan was a bit. It was good. I had the sisterhood. It was good. I had sisters that helped me. But I feel like I'm very closer to them now. But like Salat is a big thing that I've improved on. So every time the adhan goes off, I go to pray, and I'm good. Like I'm good with standing long minutes. Like spending a lot of time on my prayer. Like there's definitely good habits I've adapted this Ramadan.
That's good. That is nice.
What about you?
For me, I want to adapt reading more because I think that will help with like time. Because obviously, when you're just sitting there doing nothing, like you're on your phone, you're just there, just staring at it. Whereas you need time to like just silence. You know what I mean? And I think you can't sit in silence. And so I think with reading, you kind of are like obviously you're reading, but you kind of just taking that time to just be by yourself and stay disconnected from that phone life, because that's not going to be there when you pass. Do you know what I mean?
Is that reading a book?
Like reading a book, reading the Quran, anything. But like I've got like Islam, like do you know what I mean? Like things that will help me, like guide me to Islam and stuff, or like reminders. So that kind of helps. And you know, like we forget that we used to do the sessions. Do you know what I mean? We had sessions where you would like tell us about Islam and educate us. Obviously, it was educating yourself as well. But I feel like that helps. Like when you're trying to get on deen, like if you don't know anything, make a PowerPoint. Like if you have these questions, write down the questions. I was thinking, like, this is just something I was thinking of. Write down the questions and make a PowerPoint on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, research it, and then you kind of teaching yourself. And whatever you think's missing, try and look it up or ask, or that kind of, like, narrows down.
Because I think, like, with me as well, I thought I knew the foundations of Islam. But when you go back to square one, the 5 pillars of Islam, the 6 pillars of Iman, you know, what is hell, what is heaven, understanding and conceptualizing everything, you kind of, like you get humbled because you think like you don't actually know Islam. Islam is so detailed, and you know you have sheikhs and imams that spend years studying, and it's truly like they haven't fully grasped the concept of Islam because of how beautiful and complex it is. But I will be doing them sessions back again.
No, it's fine.
With me right now though, I'm like at a point where, okay, this is like with the podcast and like with everything, I feel guilt. Like this thing is like, I'm like
hypocritical. Because we're spreading this message like, yeah, you're supposed to do this, but really we're struggling as well. But then I think we got to remember that's what this is about. We're on the journey with you. Do you know what I mean? Not with people that are listening. Like we're not perfect. And I think I was the same thing. I was like, how am I preaching? Ask God for guidance. But when I'm down and I'm hurting, like, and I'm going through a struggle, am I doing that? And I think that was like me. But then I thought, we can listen to this. Do you know what I mean? So if we can listen to it, like just remind myself, it's a reminder, like it's like me speaking to me, like wake up. That's what that's why I treat this house. So that's how you should treat it. Like don't think of it as you're preaching to people or you're like this. Treat it as something you're going to listen to.
So hypocritical, because it's like a thing where I always fall in my iman. Like I might come across to the listeners right now as someone who's like very practicing whatever, but truly I am trying to do the bare minimum and I'm struggling with the bare minimum. But I definitely think if you are wanting to research Islam as a Muslim, get together a group of sisters or brothers who want to research Islam and understand it truly for what it is, and maybe take turns around the group to present a PowerPoint on, I don't know, the Quran, what is the Quran, miracles of the Quran, X, Y, Z.
I think it helps as well when you have someone that's born Muslim, that probably had a disconnection and then they're now finding it, because you're on that journey together, but then they also have some sort of knowledge. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of questions that ask you and but it's because you have some sort of knowledge. You might not be the best, but do you know what I mean? Like if you didn't have any of that, it'd be hard. Like with reverts, we probably we do. I think a lot of reverts we do have knowledge, but some knowledge we wouldn't have. Whereas when with someone that was born Muslim, that would be told this, it's easier. So if you are trying to look into, it could be any religion really. If there could be somebody that's practicing in it, it's easier to speak with them. Do you know what I mean? So
definitely, like I agree on that point. I am not the most knowledgeable, obviously, but if you get a person that knows more knowledge than then you'll benefit one another at the end of the day. Because there's times where you've asked me a question and I actually so I'm like, wait, it's actually a complex question and I don't really understand. So I go do research on it and then I respond to you in the correct way. And that helps me because I feel like I'm able to understand my Islam more.
Yeah, and it's something that that's how it's why I fell in love with Islam as well, because I started it's like December, and then it was kind of easier for me to pray. Like it happened so quickly, and it's like that's mad that I was able to do that Do you know what I mean? Like it took me like, I think it was a good week, maybe 2 weeks, just for me to learn. Like I learned how to pray off by heart. Do you know what I mean? Obviously at first as well.
Mashallah.
It was like we struggled because I didn't know it was free. It's 3 rakats in it for
Maghrib.
Yeah, so I was doing 4. I was doing 4, and then it took me, and then I realised, and I was like, oh, I'm doing it wrong. Like, you kind of find that. There's some stuff you find yourself, because I wouldn't have asked you about the 3 rakats. I wouldn't have said, oh, is it 3 rakats? It's just some things you do find.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of it, because I was guided, because I was doing it wrong the whole time, and then I was guided the right way to...
Hey, you was praying an extra rakat. That's good.
Yeah.
No, obviously you meant to pray 3, but Allah's going to bless you for thinking like,
yeah. But then again, it's as well intention. My intention wasn't to do it wrong, and I think that's what you just remember, guys. If your intention is pure, don't like be scared, because I always get scared about things, and then my friends like, is that your intention? Like, what's your intention towards it? And then it's as well like fearing what others think. You got to remember, in Islam, people aren't really supposed to judge you, so don't really like. Obviously, everyone's going to fear what other people think, but you shouldn't really, because if they're like practicing, they're not going to judge you.
No.
And if they do feel some type of way, they'll speak to you about it.
Hopefully. That's why I feel like I'm so unjudgmental, because like anytime like I've had people in my close friend circle come up to me and say, I've done this, that, and in the eyes of someone else they'd be like, what, you've done that? But I know that things happen in life, and I think the intention thing is so important, because I always have to G-check myself. I'm like, hang on, what's my intention?
Yeah, do you want to do questions first? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
So we did ask, does believing in a higher power give you hope? And a sister responded saying, yes, my hardships are part of Allah's plan, and He is the best planner. It might seem tough, but it's part of a bigger, better reason. Yeah, which is true. Look at the bigger picture.
Yeah, and it's kind of we did say that, but it's nice that that's how someone else sees it. Do you know what I mean? Like, that is the bigger picture, and it's just, I think it's coming to grips with it, like not being upset with not getting the right what you want, because I think that's just it really.
And then we asked, is it hard to pick faith over worldly desire? Yes, but Salah always reminds me worldly desire means nothing. Wow,
that is such a good. No,
so
that is
beautiful.
Good. That's a good response.
That is so beautiful, honestly, because I feel so connected to life when I'm in Salah.
Yeah, my mum. I was speaking to my mum, and she was saying that she thinks that praying is like, it's my coping mechanism. Do you know what I mean? She's noticed that, so I feel like that's probably how other people probably feel, and I think that will help with coming away from worldly desires. Just remembering this prayer, and that you kind of disconnected from the world, because you're there connected to God. Do you know what I mean? That disconnection from being on your phone, scrolling on it, whatever. You're in prayer, going up and down. So
even the Prophet, peace be upon him, before the revelation was sent down to him, and he wasn't Muslim at this point. I mean, he was, because he worshipped solely Allah, but before he had knowledge of the Quran, he used to go to I forgot the cave. He used to go to a cave and meditate, and that would be his form of like finding solace in hard times.
That is something I want to do during Ramadan as well. Like, because remember, like, spending time, but I was like, I can't sit in silence. Meditation. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, sorry.
And then prayer is better than meditation as well. So it's like, if you do both, it's good. We also asked, does everyone have a purpose, and is this God-given or self-proclaimed? And
you've got to find interests, that are halal interests. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what my purpose is, and that's what I mean by adaptations. Like adapting to like doing a job that it might be haram, so I adapt to doing a halal job, because you still have to have a source of income. Do you know what I mean? So it's just stuff like that, and adapting my days around prayer and like stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
I think maybe we have different definitions on what purpose is, because of course maybe your definition is purpose is God-given, which it is. It is as
those
Muslims.
hobbies as well. You got to remember, God allowed us to. He's the reason. Like, we like those things because God's allowed us to like those things. So it is kind of. He's kind of. Do you know
it gives
what I mean?
you character. If every Muslim was the same, it'd be different.
Yeah.
But purpose means like, obviously your purpose, your ultimate purpose, is going to be God-given, but purpose is something I give myself purpose to at the same time, because if I didn't have purpose, if I didn't give myself purpose, okay, I want to help others out. Wait, I don't.
No, that is like,
that is what purpose is.
Because you have a purpose to want to help others.
Yeah.
But if you didn't have that purpose, it'd be like, what
am I doing?
Yeah. What is there to do? And it kind of links back to the intention of your purpose as well. Like, if your purpose is to be doing wrong, and like by wrong I mean like something that you're not supposed to, because you can have hobbies that you're not supposed to really do, because you might have grown up doing it, but like you find a purpose. You might lose your purpose when you find like, so like for me, like I was a dancer, like my purpose was that, because all my life I did it, and then you kind of lose that purpose when I don't have that anymore, but then you kind of see the bigger picture. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, I don't know, like I'm not.
No,
kind of, it's an example. Like,
I get you.
Like that was my purpose, but now I have to find a different purpose.
The ultimate purpose is like to worship Allah, which I get what she's saying. But I think if we both didn't have purpose outside of worshipping Allah, our lives would be a bit boring. No, actually, no.
No, wait.
No, let me just go back to what I was saying. I didn't mean that.
I get what you mean.
I meant
but
like,
yeah. Because God doesn't want you to like not have a good life, but it's just having. That's what I mean by adapting, though. Do you know what I mean? As long as it's halal, that's all that matters.
like the Sahaba, which are the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they had characteristics. They were people that some of them were they gave dawah. Some of them had their different things, their different talents, their different what they liked doing. So I think purpose can be God given, and the problem that when it becomes problematic is when you put your self-given purpose above your God-given purpose. So if your purpose, like you were saying, like how people have hobbies of like dancing and that could be haram, which is haram, but if you put that above your purpose of worshipping Allah and you start missing prayer because you're going to dance shows, that's when it becomes problematic.
It is easier said than done, but that's just something that you gotta like. It could be with any hobby, but like, you know what I mean, like it's just something that you kind of slowly try and fix. Do you know what I mean? Like you just try and
So the advice I'd give as a born Muslim is, first of all, I'd say the foundation of Islam has to be strong. You need to establish that foundation. Now, this foundation could be broken. Breaking is not a word, guys. Broken if, like, for example, you fell into disbelief. You start questioning God. Is God real? Is that? But first of all, establish a main foundation. Go back to the squares. Go back to the basics, the 5 pillars, the 6 pillars of Iman. Do that. I think if your foundation's strong, then you know every time you fall into sin, you're not going to fall into disbelief. You're just going to fall into, oh yeah, I'm a Muslim and I've sinned, so I can go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through Tawbah prayer, which is repentance, and Salah.
What things have helped you cope? Do you know what I mean? Like
cope with what?
Just life. This like what? Do you know what I mean? Like how are you coping? Like because obviously you found Islam, but like it's not all peaches and roses. You know what I mean? No. Like it's a struggle. Just because we found it and we're going on the right path doesn't mean that everything's easy. We do still have our struggles and our hardships, but it's like how do you overcome them? Or if you're still struggling right now, like what are you doing to try and get out of that pit? Do you know what I mean? Of that struggle, like
I think having the idea of qadr of Allah, you know, God, everything happens for a reason. God has willed this for me. Is very comforting. But when I'm in the like depth of it, I just think I'm gonna go out of it. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just temporary. Everything is temporary. This whole dunya is temporary. So I can't expect full happiness here. Just have this is what I'm saying. If you want to get out of a dark place, have tawakkul, which is trust in Allah, and taqwa, be God conscious. Them two work amazingly together, like they're simultaneous. You can't have one without the other, to be fair. What about you?
Wait, before I come back to me, I was going to ask one more question, sorry. School-wise, like, because obviously I feel like you found it towards the end of, like, your sixth form journey, but, like, do you like to touch on anything school-wise? I feel like there's a lot of people in school that probably struggle. Do you know what I mean? So how did you, like, did you struggle? Did you cope? Like, what was it like for you? Like you don't even have to speak about high school. I mean, like, just before you found Islam, because we started doing our sessions, we started redoing our research like towards the end of year 12, end of year 13 as well, wasn't it? Like, so, roundabout. So, do you know what I mean? Like, how did you cope? Because not everybody else was on that same journey. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like it was just you.
I found myself spiritually before people around me found themselves like that.
It was really nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was really nice because it was you, Layla, and me that were doing these sessions. Obviously, I had non-Muslim friends who found themselves spiritually as well. But my advice would be definitely surround yourself with good people and start asking the questions that you need to ask earlier on from an early point, because if you leave them piling up for too late, it's going to be overwhelming and burdening and you're just not going to want to research religion. But definitely surround yourself with good people in school.
That is good.
What about you?
For me, advice-wise, it's like saying like questions and research, but it's easier said than done with research, because you might do research and you just might not understand it at all. It's like football. I think I'm lucky in one aspect, because as soon as I had my doubts and my questions, because when I was having my doubts, it wasn't a case I was trying to find Islam. I was actually just having a conversation, and Layla was like, "I'm going to ask Wiam about it," and then I just got my first Quran. Do you know what I mean? Like it kind of all fell into place. It's like God. That's what I mean. Like it's like God saw that I was having my struggles, and He placed these people in my life. Do you know what I mean? Because you was placed in my life as soon as I was on my journey. Like it's like He knew we was meant for each other to help with our journeys. Do you know what I mean? And I think
that's so sweet.
That's what happened.
I'd like to say as well, a lot of people feel like once they've found Islam, they can't be themselves anymore. I mean, like
you're still you.
You're still you. You still have your hobbies. You still are that person to people. I mean, I know a lot of people have seen a change in me because I used to be the goofiest kid. Like, I used to be so goofy and funny. I still am funny, by the way. But I used to be like, I used to have a lot of personality. And I don't know if this is through time or because I've grown up, or is it because I've realised that there's more to life than trying to please others and being this joker. But people have said they've seen a change in me. I don't know if it's for the good or for the worse, but I think for me it is for the good because I've gotten closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But my point is, guys, just because you find Islam or you want to practice Christianity or Islam properly, you don't want to be a lukewarm Christian, you don't want to be a Muslim who just says a Muslim but doesn't pray there 5 times a day, doesn't mean, like, just because you find religion doesn't mean you have to lose yourself. If anything, it helps you find yourself.
It helps you just help. And I think as well, you got to remember, just because you read the Quran and you do your praying doesn't mean that you stop. No matter how old you are, you still do research about your religion. Do you know what I mean? We're not just saying that once you start doing these steps, you stop. Like, you don't need to do it anymore. No matter how old you are, you still do your religion. Do you know what I mean? And I think that that's what you have to remember. But I think it's a bit easier when you're a revert because you kind of start doing the research and all you've known all your life is research, and then you revert and you're still doing research. Whereas when you're born, I feel like you've already you start doing the research when you want to find more out. What you kind of raise with what you know. Some
people don't even do research. They're like they accept the fact that I'm born Muslim and they're in blind faith. They believe that, okay, just because you're born a part of this religion, it means it has to be fact, which like a lot of people are in that position. That's why maybe they're not practicing the way they should practice. So I think going into questioning your whole religion is a good thing. Like, you need to question your religion and be like, hang on, is this what I truly believe? What is my religion? If someone asks me, oh, can you explain Islam? Am I going to be able to adequately explain what Islam is? And if I can't, maybe I don't know my religion that well.
No, I agree. And that is an opener for me as well, because there's probably people that are interested and they probably want to know why I reverted and what. And what the religion, do I understand the religion? Because a lot of people will try and test me on that as well. Like, do you even know why you reverted? So I need to be prepared.
Who said that?
No, I feel like a lot of people will. They'll be like, but why? Do you know what I mean? Do you know about the religion? What was in, like, and do you know, like, I feel like a lot of people will do that just to make sure I know what I'm talking about and not just here saying, oh yeah, I reverted just because it's cool. Like,
but you know what's such a good feeling? It's happened to me before. Someone looked at me, because obviously I don't wear hijab, so someone looked at me and they assumed that I didn't know Islam like that, and then they started asking me questions, and the way I gave it to them, they looked at me and they're like, oh, okay, okay, I get it. Like,
that's why it's not the case of not judging, because I could be wearing hijab and there could be someone that isn't, and they're probably more on deen than I am. Do you know what I mean? But you don't judge them. Like, everyone's on their journey. Hopefully it's easy. Just, I feel like it's so hard. Make sure, guys, like, if you ever like feel like you see someone and they're doing wrong, pray for them. Do you know what I mean? If you can't say anything, like pray. Do you know, like, I feel like that's what, and that helps with like getting on deen when you start praying for others. Do you know how nice that is? Like,
it's day 4 right now, right? Day 4 Ramadan. Day 4 or day 5? I think it's day 4. But you're gonna get to day 9, and then you're gonna be
day
like
3, right?
Wait, it's day 3.
23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th.
It started Wednesday night.
Okay, day 4. Carry on.
I don't know. Actually, guys, I don't know. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, you're going to get to a week in Ramadan, and that's when, if you haven't kept up with your routine of praying and reading the Quran, you might feel a bit discouraged. But I keep saying, use that to fuel your Ramadan. Don't sit and be like, okay, I've not prayed, so now my Ramadan's going to go downhill. But yeah, that's my advice. Like, use your low. So we hope you did enjoy our discussion today. We are Define Dunya, a group of
we are
sisters.
Define Dunya, but
you keep it real on the mic as we discuss Deen and Dunya. You can find us on social media platforms, and we hope. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.